Okay.
Today, we will be exploring 6 strange urban phenomena that we have spotted in London.
We'll be reviewing these starting from the worst ones towards the better ones.
Without further ado, let's start stripping some architecture and explore the hidden urban phenomena in our cities.
Urban phenomena number 1. Poor door, rich door.
Strange urban phenomena is this building right over here. Why? Because it has 2 entrances. Fine, that's not very strange, but the first entrance is over here, facing the main street, with nice chandeliers, marble floor and reception that takes you to the lofts, and the other entrance is
A little bit further down, on the back side of the building.
yes, and the second entrance is hidden right down that alley.
This entrance is not just an alternative one, it is actually a completely different entrance designed for the users of the affordable units located in the same building.
Where you can find an average looking design of a hall, an entrance that takes you to the affordable housing. And this is how these kind of regular secondary entrances look like for the affordable houses, as you can see. Nothing special. So here is the controversy. While on one hand we're having affordable housing in the center of London, on the other hand we have design segregation.
And while we argue the pros and cons of this concept, our approach on this subject is simple. This is probably what happens when important issues such as social inequality and housing crisis are being solved as part of a political agenda and dodgy tweaks of dubious laws. Number 2. Gentrification of brutalism.
The second strange urban phenomenon in London is this one over here, or gentrification to brutalist buildings.
The rise of the social housing, or the council housing, as it is called in the UK, has reached its peak in the period after the World War II, the time when quick construction with concrete prefab elements was on high demand. At this time, this type of construction was compatible with the ongoing brutalist style. Therefore, brutalist style applied to a multifamily housing blocks is frequently associated with affordable housing, which actually it resembles a common case in London. However, lately, due to maintenance issues and costly estate market, this type of housing units are often being transformed into a privately owned properties.
Well, these kind of buildings are very hard and costly to be maintained, but the residential housing crisis is so high that for certain higher and upper middle class rich people, it turns out to be affordable to renovate and live in these houses.
While walking around, we have noticed different low-cost housing equipment and furniture, elements that clearly suggest low-income families. However, certain flats, especially on the ground floor, had very nicely maintained yards and interior design, often followed with classical or jazz music in the background. Now, before you say mixity is good, fine, no problem, but short question. Do you think that the people with lower incomes can easily move into the neighborhoods where people with high income live?
The same is happening to Trellick Tower. So if the wealthy are inhabiting these places, then where should the people who are looking for affordable housing should go?
Number 3. Underground extensions.
And the third weird urban phenomena is digging multiple underground stories or deep basements under the houses. Maybe you've heard of it and we'll check further.
This phenomena is happening mostly in the rich neighborhoods such as Kensington, Chelsea, Hammersmith, Fulham and around the Hyde Park. Due to different regulations about vertical building extensions, the elite of London has found another way how to extend their properties and store their capital, by building underground multi-stories house extensions filled with swimming pools, cinemas, wine cellars, bars and spas. However, due to highly unjustful principles, technical issues and disturbance of the public environment, few years ago this kind of developments has been limited to only one level under the ground. Deep front yards.
Elevated separation from the private space, private properties and the public property.
Probably this is an extended version of the traditional English court. You can spot this phenomena all over London and basically it has two beneficial aspects. Creates additional livable space with decent quality under the ground floor level and it creates a certain kind of safe urban front yards without many barriers.
So distinct separation between the residential property and the public space. They can have a visual contact and communication, but still they cannot physically intercommunicate. Well, maybe that's good or bad. You tell us.
What we don't like is that despite the enabled visual contact between residents and pedestrians, the capacity for physical contact remains permanently limited. We highly believe that with thoughtful adjustments, this concept has a promising potential for a great urban quality.
And I don't know what to think about it. Do I like it or not?
Number 5. Covered outdoor spaces. Generally speaking, covered outdoor spaces are often associated to cities with a warmer climate because people spend more time outdoors. Consequently, there is a common misconception that rainy or windy cities do not have active public life due to weather conditions and therefore covered outdoor spaces are not needed. On the contrary, we are convinced that covered outdoor spaces are more urgent in colder cities, so we can encourage people to spend time outside and stimulate socialization. In London, we have spotted plenty of passages, covered promenades, porches and elevated outer corridors that function as shelter for the pedestrians, which is great. However, we found it strange that these urban elements have decent spatial characteristics but poor social quality. For example, there was not a single bench in these spaces. And finally, a bonus strange urban phenomena for all of you. On the famous telephone booths of London, you can frequently notice plenty of ads and stickers promoting hotlines for sexual services. Why? Well, we will leave that for your imagination.
Finally, we wanted to give some reflections on the worst urban phenomena that we have found in London. Poor doors versus rich doors.
As you can see on an illustration, in hyper-capitalist based societies, the gap between the rich and poor is so high that often even good intentions tend to morph into accepted perversion.
Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and spot the worst and nice urban phenomena in your city.